Welcome to another episode of the Light Path podcast with me, Kirsten Leo, where we are going to explore a topic that hopefully will leave you more empowered, balanced, and authentically walking the life you wish to live. But before we dive into this powerful and potentially very healing tool of cord cutting, I want to let you know that whenever you guys rate, share, and subscribe to this podcast, it helps it so much. And the way it helps it is that it gets and finds its way into the ears of people that may need to hear these messages the most. So I just want to say how much I appreciate you listening. And if you haven't rated an episode or the podcast or subscribe, if you could quickly do that before we dive in, I would be very, very grateful. And if at the end, this is something that you know of someone that would really appreciate from this information or hearing it, then please share it with them so we can get this empowerment out there to as many people as possible. All right, so cord cutting, whether you have heard of cord cutting before or you're just getting introduced to this concept, this episode will hopefully provide you with everything that you need to know about it, from understanding what cord cutting is to the energetics behind it, and a series of tips and techniques to help you cut those cords with peace, love, and most importantly, confidence. So if you have ever felt drained, overwhelmed, or like someone is energetically pulling at you, then this episode is for you. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's dive into the basics of what cord cutting actually is. So, in its simplest form, cord cutting refers to the process of disconnecting yourself energetically from the ties or attachments and connections you may have with other people, places, or experiences. People often think cord cutting is just to do with other people, but actually it goes far beyond that. Because we're energetic beings, we are going to vibrationally be connected or energetically be connected to not just people, but places and experiences in our lives, and potentially also in past lives if that's something that you're open to. So this is really a technique that allows us to not just sever, but lessen the energetic footprint or impact that places, people, and experiences are having on our current day that aren't nourishing, nurturing, or amplifying where we are now and where we're hoping to go. And I just want to clarify straight up, this isn't about severing relationships or like cutting people dramatically out of your life. And it's definitely not a form of anger or revenge that we can express or an energetic or spiritual tool to use in order to channel those emotions. Cord cutting is actually about freeing yourself from perhaps unhealthy or draining, outdated, or just redundant energetic connections that you feel are impacting your well-being where you stand now. And these cords or energetic ties are not visible to the naked eye, which is why it's energetic work or vibrational work. But these energetic tides and cords exist on that energetic vibrational level, or the 5D. And they're formed through and charged through emotional interactions. Because as you know, in the field of energetics, our thoughts spur on an emotion, and the emotion is almost like our energetic radio signal to the entire universe. And as we know, like attracts like, so that radio signal of the vibrations of your emotions formed by the thoughts and perceptions that you're having, and you're living that through your personality, creating your, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, your personal reality. You are then hooking into and connecting to like vibrations. And so when we form these through this emotional interaction or connection, whether it's healthy, unhealthy, desired, undesired, we can think of these as like invisible threads that connect us to the people, the places, the situations, and the experiences that occurred there. And when an energetic cord is no longer serving you, you might be able to identify this because you're feeling drained, anxious, or emotionally attached to someone, someplace, or something when you actually do not desire to be. So cord cutting is referred to a lot in interpersonal relationships because they can be the most obvious. So I do just want to highlight that it's also to do with circumstances, places, spaces, situations. Now, in terms of interpersonal relationships, this could be like a toxic relationship. It might be an old friendship that is no longer serving you, or just someone whose like energy field feels really heavy or invasive into your life. This could be work colleagues, family members, like the list is obviously endless. So cord cutting is what we do to dull that energetic frequency imprinting or impacting on us in the present moment, a definite key ingredient in healing and evolving from situations that life throws us or that we choose or that we find ourselves in. So let's dive into the energetics of cord cutting. So energetically, cord cutting is rooted in the understanding that we as human beings are constantly energy exchanging. Every thought, every emotion, every interaction, every glance, every word, it all carries its own energy. And when we interact with someone, an energetic cord is formed. When we interact with a certain place, an energetic cord is formed. When we're interacting within a situation like a workplace or an environment, an energetic cord is formed. And if the relationship or the exchange between the person, place, or situation is healthy, then this cord really remains balanced, possibly at best really neutral, and often really nourishing, which is why we feel drawn to people and our cups can be filled up by interactions that we have with those around us. But in perhaps toxic situations or draining situations in relationships and interactions and situations, these cords, these energetic cords, can become really distorted and they can feel heavy and even like depleting, like it's really sucking the life out of you. So when we talk about cord cutting, cutting these energetic cords, what we're referring to is a process of detachment, detaching and releasing these unhealthy, draining, energetic attachments. So, cutting cords essentially is allowing us to kind of reclaim back our own personal power and energy field, giving us the space to kind of heal from what was and be able to move forward without lugging around or carrying the weight of that person, place, or situation with you. Cord cutting is not like a one-stop shop. Often in my experience, I've had to revisit the process over and over again because these energetic cords can be filled with layers of energetic aspects that are impacting and or my body, my nervous system, my energy needs a lot of repetition sometimes to let go of things or detach from things and not be tainted by them, because perhaps the wound is really potent and deep, or perhaps the toxicity or the draining energy is something that maybe was experienced in a certain situation but has been experienced in many certain situations. So by practicing the art of cord cutting and detaching from one situation is also healing all the other situations that I've been in. So I want to set you up with that expectation that it's not like a one stop shop in terms of doing it. Because here's the thing, like, cord cutting isn't about severing those ties, but it's about protecting yourself from the ongoing influence and manipulation of that energy experienced there. And that ongoing influence and manipulation could be in terms of how hurtful it was or the wound that existed there. It could be from the beliefs that you created about yourself and the world, the perspectives that you formed as a result of that, that may need undoing and relearning. And it's about establishing boundaries for yourself. And when done with clear intention, can't stress that enough, doing it with clear and loving intention, cord cutting is really going to help you maintain your own personal power and ensures that the energy that you embody is truly your own. So now that we have defined cord cutting and the energetics behind it, I want to share with you some really practical tips and techniques of how to do this. Techniques that I have been taught, that I have learnt, and that I have adopted over my time and continue to use to this day quite regularly. So whether it's a difficult relationship like an ex, or just someone that may be draining your energy, these techniques can really help you free yourself and create healthy energetic boundaries. And I often align cord cutting with energetic hygiene. And energetic hygiene is something I think that we should practice every day. So I'm going to start there. So not to, like, it is a cord cutting technique, but this is like overall energetic hygiene. And the first one is swiping. So this is a great one to do on a daily basis. I find the best time to do it is first thing in the morning and in the evening, but obviously you do it when it's best for you. And that is literally just running my hands over my body to swipe away any energy that may have been infiltrating my own personal aura or energetic field, and just wiping it away, like cutting it away because it's no longer necessary. So I do this in the morning because I've just been asleep and I've been in my subconscious for a really long time. And as we know, in that subconscious state, often your subconscious is working through a lot of the data, a lot of the experiences of being human, and isn't necessarily anything to do with the impact or the life that you're living. And so you're just kind of swiping that energy away. And then definitely in the afternoon or the evening, it's to swipe away and detach from all the people that you came across that day and have been part of their energetic field. So physically, like when you walk into someone's energetic field, you don't just like walk away and not necessarily have some of the debris or impact or vibe of that person. Now, let's just say you have just, been in a workout class and the person working out next to you just had a really cool vibe. Like that's great to have in your aura. But what if like they were really down on themselves or going through something really traumatic and you're kind of like naturally just picking up on that? It's good to just swipe it away in terms of that hygiene, just like, washing your body at the end of the day. You're going to pick up like dirt, grime, germs, bacteria, whatever it is during the day. And so you swipe yourself, you rid yourself, you clean yourself of it to get back into your most possible purest form. Same with swiping. So that's just like a general energetic hygiene form of cord cutting that you can do on the daily. But when we are thinking about specific situations, people, or circumstances, we can get into deeper, more intentional practices and ritual when it comes to this. So the first one I want to share with you is like a white light visualization. And this is probably one of the most common and powerful ways to complete a cord cutting ritual. And it is through the format of visualization. So you can do this anytime you feel this connection of someone, someplace, or something draining you in day-to-day life. So step by step, first, just finding a really quiet space so you can be comfortable and you're not going to be interrupted. And of course, centering yourself, connecting to yourself. So taking a deep breath, shutting down your eyes, and really just going within. I think at this point, it's extremely vital. Do not miss this step to set an intention to cut this cord with love. Remember, cord cutting is not a place for anger and vengeance. And doing it out of frustration is probably not the energetic vibrational vibe that we want out there, right? So set the intention that with love, you are severing this cord. Then begin by picturing a beautiful, bright, pure white light surrounding your entire body. I like to call it the egg of light. Putting yourself in this beautiful, protective, energetic light shield. And then to visualize and see a literal cord or energetic connection between you and the other person, place, or situation. You might want to notice at this point where this cord enters your physical body or your energetic zone or aura, and what this cord looks like. It might appear like a string or a rope or a chain, anything that, like, what does it look like? What does that shape appear as and feel like to you? And then when you can see this cord with that intention of love, visualize yourself holding an instrument, whether it be scissors, a sword, mallet, whatever you want. Picture yourself holding something that can slice that cord in one swift, easy motion. And as you cut that cord, you can kind of watch this energy between you both dissipate into that white light. And then as this cord dissolves, you imagine this white light becoming even brighter and almost like sealing that energy field back into its original state without the influence that is no longer desired or required from that cord. So that's one way, repeating that as often and as necessary as required, trusting that each time as you do it, you're reclaiming your power and you're building up that personal energy field around you without the influence that is not desired. A second way to cord cut, or a third way really, because we had the energetic cleanse by swiping at the beginning. So a third technique is a mirror exercise. And I think this technique can be really, really helpful when you're dealing with someone, something, or someplace that like continues to cross your boundaries energetically or personally and kind of invade your space. So again, first start by centering yourself, closing your eyes, and setting that intention that you're cutting this cord with pure love, respect, and grace. So when you're in that loving vibration, when you've been able to build that up, and I have to say, if you can't, if you're too emotional or you're too hurt, then it's probably not the right time to cord cut. Just wait until that has simmered down. Remember, emotions are just energy in motion. So like get it out in another way before you do this. So when you're in that state of pure love, visualize in front of you a huge mirror, beautiful mirror, and picture the person, the situation, or the place that you're cutting cords with in the mirror. So I want you to stand in front of this mirror and see that image fully, but at a distance, like they're not right in front of you. And then begin to visualize the energy that they have been sending you through your perception and your experience. Visualize that energy, whether it's like draining energy or their anger, their resentment, or whatever it is. And I want you to watch it bounce back off the mirror towards them. So as they send it to you, it reaches the mirror and boom, back, reflected back to them. And this isn't with the intention of dumping on them or dumping their trauma, however you perceive it or experience, back onto them. It's just about that boundary or that filter so it isn't infiltrating into your energetic space. And as you do this, you may wish to state some affirmations or intentions around this, like, I release you from my energy field and I release your energy back to you where it belongs. And once this exchange is complete or it feels complete to you, just imagine that mirror like closing off. I like to see it like a door sliding across, and all it's leaving you is your own reflection. And so this really symbolizes that that this person, place, or situation no longer has access to you energetically. And the last one, this is one that I use the least, but actually is really effective. And that is actually to use the vibration of sound. So the vibration of sound can really disrupt energy fields and clear it out. So it's a technique that a healer that I used to work with a lot used a lot. So after a client would leave her space, she would clang a bell really loudly to clear out that person's energy and perhaps anything that was left in that healing session there. Personally, I tend to use incense and Palo Santo or sage to do that, to cleanse the space. But at the end of every healing, I do use sound on the person to signify the ending of the healing and to cut the cords to anything that was released. So it is it doesn't, what was released on the healing bed no longer has access to that person. So sound is a really powerful one to use. And now that I'm talking you through this, I'm actually probably going to be very mindful to use it more myself. So it's really incredible in shifting energies and cutting cords, because sound waves has the ability to break up stuck energy and clear out energy fields. So you can use a bell, a singing bowl, a tuning fork, or even music that resonates with healing. Again, set an intention, set that intention to break up any unwanted energy cords or residual energy that is in your field with love. Make sure you're in that frequency of love. And then as you visualize this sound or make this sound vibrate through the cords or the energetic debris of the other person, place, or situation, I want you to make the sound and listen to the sound, but see the sound waves, visualize them disintegrating and releasing the energy that's clearing out, and keep doing that until you feel a physical or energetic release from that. And once completed, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, this cord is fully dissolved, and let the sound continue to wash over you to cleanse that field. It's really powerful sound for resetting and cleansing and clearing energy. So great to use in cord cutting. And one more little tip or technique is an emotional release. So as we know, much of our attachment to others or the cords that we have are created by, fueled by, and sustained by emotions. So because cord cutting isn't just a mental energetic exercise, it's really deep down, it's an emotional one often. So this is going to really allow you to free yourself and release yourself from the emotions tied to the person or the situations you're releasing. Now, I have to say that this is like a deep one, and often you'll need help with like a practitioner to help you do this. This is why a lot of people come for healing, because emotions are intense and they can be a lot. And so sometimes you just need to like be visited by a healer to like for them to do it at first, and then you can begin to do it yourself. But even me, like when the emotions are too potent, when they're too deep, when they're too laced with patterns of behavior and trauma and all the things, like I ask someone else to help me, because it can be a lot when you're working with emotions, because that is one of the beautiful experiences of being human, but it's also very difficult to integrate. Okay, but I'll talk you through this technique so you can play with it, around with it, if that's what you choose to do. But as you know, someone like me is always here to help you with that. So first of all, it's to sit in the emotion. Like you have to acknowledge the emotion that you're feeling when the idea or the thought or the experience of this person comes up. So is it anger? Is it grief? Is it sadness? Is it resentment? Like, what is the emotion that you're feeling? And then, and this is why I say do it with a practitioner, because you need to take care of yourself when you do this. If it's going to send you over the edge, do not do it. Like, your mental health comes first, okay? So warning, 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 do not do this unless you know you can hold yourself through it. So then, like, when you identify the emotion, allow yourself to feel it completely. Don't try to suppress it. A great technique that a healer used to use with me is she'd be like, where is this emotion sitting in your body? And so you can kind of focus and like feel like, oh, it's in my belly. Okay. And she would say, breathe into it. Breathe into it there. And so I'd let it exist there and just breathe into it. And then she would prompt me like, has it moved? What does it feel like now? Is it bigger? Is it smaller? And I just sat with it, and you just sit with it. Like I said, for you to do this with someone on your own, especially if you've never done it before. So once you fully felt this emotion, express it. So this could be through like journaling it out, writing it out. This could be about shouting into a pillow. This could be about crying, like really letting it out. This could be about like verbally, like out loud saying like how this makes you feel, like getting it off your chest. Then as you do that, it's really seeing, imagining, and experiencing this emotion leaving your body and floating away, taking with it any cords of attachment that have a hold on you when it comes to this emotion. And so this technique really helps create a space for healing and evolving from that emotion, and to ensure that you're not carrying around unresolved emotions that bind you to another person, place, or situation. I'm going to say it again because I care about you. Only do this with yourself if you can hold yourself through that process. But if it gets too overwhelming or too much, seek someone to hold space for you as you do it, because that is very intense. So there are my tips and tricks and techniques, but I want to answer that key question that sparked this podcast episode in the first place. And that is, so what happens if like you've been cord cutting, you're doing all the things, and this person comes back into your life? Like maybe they reach out, maybe somehow their energy starts to influence you again. So here's the key. And this is what I told this person when they asked me the question. Understand this. Cord cutting is about you. It's not about them. You are cutting the cords for your own healing and your own boundary setting. Sometimes that does energetically influence another so much that they don't come back, because they feel something's off, or they feel like for whatever reason they're not going to get out of you what they got out of you before. But it takes a very evolved person to kind of hear then respect their own energetic cues. So more than likely, you're going to work on cord cutting with someone, as an example, and they're going to come back into your field. When someone does this after you've cut cords, does not mean that you have failed at the cord cutting or that it didn't work. It simply means that you have an opportunity to see where you're at with the potency of your cord cutting. Remember, you're not cutting cords for them, you're cutting them for you. So if that person reemerges, you might feel really tempted to re-engage, or you might feel really triggered in all the same emotions again. You might feel really tempted to react and engage with them the way you used to, maybe hoping for a different outcome. But remember, the cord cutting was for you to reclaim your energy and your space because you had identified something that was not serving you. Their return is not about you, therefore re-allowing access to you again, but it's about how you choose to respond to them now as a result of that. So this is your actual opportunity to reinforce those boundaries and to perhaps stay firm in the decisions you made to protect your energy field. And again, it will give you an indication of where you are with that. Like, did you slip straight back in? Did you go in with hope and potential that it had changed? Did you not read the signs? Did you not read your body's energetic cues through your physicality? So it's your opportunity to integrate rather than a judgment call on how you've done in this process. So ask yourself, am I ready to re-engage with this person? Do I desire to re-engage with this person? Or have I already made and therefore need to honor through my voice, my words, my choices, my decisions, the decision that I have made to move on without this energy infiltrating? So before we wrap up, hopefully that answers that question. Remember, cord cutting is not about them, it's about you. So just a few reminders. Cord cutting is super powerful for reclaiming your energy field, your purity, and your own healing of emotional wounds. It's not about rejecting others and pushing others away. It's actually about protecting yourself from draining attachments or unhealthy attachments. Using visualization, sound, emotional release, boundary setting, swiping is really going to help you cut cords and reestablish your own energetic sovereignty. Really empowering, right? And remember, when someone comes back after you've cut cords, it's an opportunity to strengthen that relationship with your own energetic field, not a failure of the process or yourself in that process. Energetic cord cutting is about you, not about them. Whew. So I really hope that gave you the information you need or empowered you to perhaps start to understand and play with the idea of cord cutting and perhaps practice that technique. And if you are obviously feeling overwhelmed or drained or energetically hooked into something or someone, and it's not something that you feel you can, really tackle on your own, just know that there are so many resources out there to help you, and practitioners like myself that can help you in this. Book in for a healing session. That's what it's there for, to identify this and do this work to help support you on the way. So I'll tag the link straight to a healing session below in the show notes. But for now, if this resonated with you, I really highly encourage you to share it with someone who you may think will benefit from understanding or learning these techniques so that they can practice them too. But until next time, I am just sending you so much love and light as you walk your path.